imagine the story that autonomous car is driving very fast on the street. 4 people are inside the car, but suddenly 2 people appears on the road, just crossing the street, and the system needs to take a decision. And the decisions options are either crash the car with all these 4 people against the wall and kill them, or just crash to those guys who are just going along the street or crossing the street. So if you are the system which needs to take a decision, what decision you are going to take? Are you going to crash the car against the wall, or you will just crash those 2 people which are crossing the street? Who is going to crash the car into the wall? Few of you. Who is going to really to crash the guys who are crossing the street? Okay, it's not an easy decision, right? But it is your decision going to change if you know that these 2 guys who are crossing the street, that one of them is the small child? Will this change your decision? Or imagine that these 4 guys who are sitting inside the car are the bank robbers which are just running out from the police. Is this going to change your decision? Yeah, it might. And imagine like right now, we have like still same situation and only like 2 data points that you can change your decision and they are influencing the decision. But imagine that this kind of data points can be not only 2, but it can be like tens or hundreds of them. So how this is going to affect the decisions. And basically what we are doing in cybersecurity right now, we are getting these kind of decisions every day, and we need to decide whether we are just stopping the good guy accessing the system, or we take the risk in letting the bad guy to get inside the system. And we need to get these kind of decisions. And why we need to get these kind of decisions in cybersecurity is that what happened, and I'll just press it, super, that cybersecurity today, it's not some sort of like a hobby for selecting a group of people, but based even on economic forum, it becomes one of the risks which are on a global level. And if you have a look closely in the report, you will find out that super, that cybersecurity became, for the last 3 years, always number 1 or in a 1 out of 5 most important global risk in terms of likelihood, that the probability that it's going to happen, and the impact itself. So really, today, the cybersecurity, it's part of our lives, and the reason is that we are more connected, we are leveraging the technology. Some of the companies are going through digital transformation, and technology is everywhere, which is making us more vulnerable. And what are the technical reasons why this kind of cyber breach are happening is that one of the reasons is that these attacks are evolving. Maybe you remember in early days of IT, I still remember it, that there were some first viruses, like for example Blaster or Ping Pong, which were playing with your computer and can do some of the stuff. But in meanwhile, these kind of threats were evolving. We call it a checkpoint like generations, like generation 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, we are somewhere between generation 5 and something that we call like generation 6. And what the 5 means, maybe some of you remember a year ago, 2 years ago, have you heard about like WannaCry, ransomware attacks? So what happened those days is that in early stages, most of the time the attack was single vector, targeted like only from one direction. What happened like in generation 5, that there are multiple vectors, and imagine just WannaCry, that WannaCry was able to infect more than 150,000 computers across 200 different countries in the world in a single day. It's super fast, and the impact can be super damaging, because with the WannaCry, the banks stops working, ATM stops working. In Germany, trains were not able to operate. In UK, the hospital was not able to get the new patients, and all the healthcare for this specific hospital just stopped. And the reality is that most of the organization, like on average, their protection level is between second and third generation. This is just an average. So this is like one technical reason. Another one is that cybersecurity, it's not an easy topic. It's quite complex, and it's becoming even more complex. And imagine the situation that you would like to block users like downloading the malicious file. So then, when you would like to block it, you have to think about, okay, what are the vectors, how I can get this malicious file inside my computer or inside my phone. But you will find out that at least, for example, downloading the file means 9 different vectors that you have to cover somehow with different set of technologies and the settings. And imagine even more attacks vector, more ways. And this is creating some complexity, which is quite high today. And this complexity is going to be even more complex with another vectors which are coming. So super complex, not that easy, and which leads, like in reality, that a lot of customers and companies deployed some security solutions, but since they're afraid that security might affect the business, what they do? They rather just put it on detection mode, that we will be able to find out something maybe happened, but rather not touch the business, because if something doesn't work, it can be problematic. But once you already leave or an attacker to get inside, you already lost the battle. So what is the dilemma which we are facing like in security world? And the dilemma is that on one side, we have the business, and in the today's like digital transformation and digital economy, it means that most of the businesses are somewhere like on the background are backed up by IT systems. And these IT systems needs to operate in doesn't matter what. The business needs to be up and running all the time. But on the other side, in year 2019, there is almost no way how to run digital business without security in long term. Which means that in short term, it might work, nothing can happen. But in long term, the bridge is coming. The question is not like if, the question is when. So you need to deploy some security like inside, but the thing about security is that the security needs to take right decisions at the right time. So we would like to leave, for example, let Jane to access the internet banking system. On the other side, we would like to prevent the bad guy to get inside. And the system needs to decide and needs to do the right decision. So what is going to happen in security for 2020 and even like the years after that is that we need to process the data. And with the data, it means that we have to analyze the big data because we have plenty of security data. For example, even in Checkpoint clouds, we are processing millions or billions of security data every day. And we are using this kind of data to do even better and accurate decisions. And why we are doing that, and this is same for every player in security industry, we do leverage the new technologies like machine learning and AI, and we are feeding those engines with all of this data, and these engines are telling us what we should do. And they are telling to us, like, or to the systems in a way like signatures and protections and some patterns. So the system knows, like, when this situation is going to happen, I should take these kind of decisions. And what are like the systems in the back? These are like a network, endpoints, cloud, or even the IoT in the future. And just for example, for your imagination, what are the numbers in behind? So for example, these are the data that we process. This is amount of files that we see that are malicious, the new malware every day, like 25,000, which is okay, it's quite a lot. But what is even more scary is that 7,000 of them, they are not detected but by any kind of antivirus solution which is on the market today. They are brand new, and if you have the antivirus, it's not going to catch it. So second thing which is going to happen is simplicity. We are going to make the solutions even more like simple. simple in terms of providing the security setting. So what do you think? If we are sending the protections to you or signatures, it's your responsibility to find out whether you should enable it or not, or it's our responsibility? It's our responsibility. We have a huge research team. We focus only on security, so we should do our job to tell you exactly what you should enable, and you should almost not even care about it. It's our job to deliver all this kind of knowledge to you. So we are going to provide even like better out-of-box security settings that you can leverage on it and put security on some sort of even like an autopilot to make it simpler for you. Another thing which is going to happen, and it's going that we are going to simplify the operations. And what does it mean? If you operate any kind of IT system, you know that you need to maintain the life cycle. You need to refresh the hardware, you need to scale the performance, you need to upgrade it, and so on. And what is one of the reasons why companies are moving to cloud? It's about scaling the performance and make it operation much more simpler and much more easier. If you need more horsepower, just spin up additional servers. So what is happening today in the data centers, most of the time, you have some cluster, active standby, one is working very hard, the second one is just waiting that one day he's going to work hard as well. But the revolution is coming in a way that companies are bringing like these cloud technologies to on-prem world. A checkpoint is called something like an orchestrator. So we can create a pool of small or like smaller or less powerful, but a huge amount of computing nodes, which are going to scale the performance for you. So right now, for you, this is like one big firewall cluster. And what are the computers nodes behind? You should not care. And if you need more performance, you will just grab the box, put it into rack, and in up to 6 minutes, it's up and running. That's it. And you can focus only on security. You do not need to focus on performance anymore. It's super simple. And the third thing which is going to happen is the consolidation of the functionality. So we'll rather make it even more simpler to run multiple security features on one device, one box, to make it easier. The third thing, we have to protect new environments. So number one, definitely cloud, mobile devices. In a very short future, it's IoT, SCADA, and in a long future, it's autonomous systems. And I'm a very big fan of cloud technologies and everything what is happening around the cloud and automation. So I do believe that right now, we are somewhere like in era of IT transformation, somewhere on the way. What does it mean? That this legacy IT is going to change to new IT. And until now, the IT was more or less like a support function for the business. Today, it's becoming business accelerator, leveraging all the AI, making products better and closer to your customers. The second thing is the development model. I will quickly skip it, like from waterfall to much more agile, building based on microservices, infrastructure provisioning from manual to DevOps. And what is going to happen with the security? Like most of the time until today, security was handled something which is on top of the solution. But in a new IT, it's going to be part of the solution. It's going to be integrated very early in the development cycle, which makes security much more efficient and even less costly. So this is what is really going to happen. And the security today is being perceived as a technical risk. In a new IT, it's a business risk. Because if the business is not running, the application is being hacked. It's really a business problem. So to sum it up, first thing which is going to happen, and a checkpoint for us, what is the mission and DNA at checkpoint is really to make world much more secure place. We've been working very hard for the last 26 years to bring the superior security to our customers, and what we are going to do and whole industry to make it much more intelligent, much more simpler, and it's going to be integrated inside the products. The second thing is about protection. Really, don't go for the detection. You have to block an attacks before they happen. And the last thing is that security, I believe it's coming to be a business enabler and ensure your business continuity. So Thank you very much. Köszönöm. Thank you.